welcome back to my channel. Listen, some of y'all are about to be really mad at me, but there are certain things that need to be said. However, I do want to throw in a little disclaimer here. I feel like I should do this with every video, but basically, if the title and the intro and what I'm talking about does not resonate with you, that's okay. Please never feel obligated to take my advice or even listen to me at all, okay? I'm just speaking from my own experiences, sharing my own opinions. Might be a little different from yours, okay? And that's fine. But I like to think I'm very self-aware. I know that I can be my own worst enemy, and there's something that I do sometimes that is actively sabotaging my success, my manifestations, my happiness, and I know I'm not alone in doing it. The culprit? Sticking to the plan, exalting the plan, relying too heavily on the plan. And I know what you're thinking, and by your, I mean my own inner devil's advocate, but everything in life requires a plan. You're gonna need to plan something at some point or another. And yes, sure. But bear with me here because we're gonna talk about the plan from a bit of a different perspective in this video, okay? We're gonna talk about what the plan actually entails, why we do it, and what happens when we don't. And on top of that, we're gonna talk about how to stop sabotaging ourselves by sticking to said plan. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little vulnerable on this one. We're gonna talk about my personal experiences with this, and damn, I really almost ruined everything. It really do be your own ego. But before we really get into it, if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I would love to have you. I have a whole playlist on the real tea on manifestation, how to manifest a specific person, a house, money, confidence, pretty much anything that you can think of at this point. So go check that out and subscribe if you aren't already, and let's get into it. So let's start with what I mean when I'm talking about the plan, the grand plan. What's something that we have a grand plan for a lot? Our career. And I gotta come for our culture and society a little bit here because from a very young age, we are taught that we have to have a plan for our career, right? What's the question that every kid gets asked by adults?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
And they're not talking about characteristics or personality traits, okay? They're talking about that J-O-B, period. I feel like a lot of us get into that trap of, okay, I'm 18, I have to figure out what I want to do for a career. Okay, I guess I'll do this. Here are the steps it takes to get there, and I'm just gonna stick to that plan, and there you go. And then sometimes when you follow the steps and you get the career, you're in it and you realize that it's not actually what you want. It's not actually what's gonna make you happy. But so much work went into following those steps and completing the plan that it's super daunting to just start from zero and have to replan everything out again. Not only that, but sometimes we stay in shitty jobs that we don't even like because we're afraid of what a different job would look like. Sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So you're in your job like, okay, I don't like it here, but I also know I don't like it here, and that's a good thing. I don't know what I'm not gonna like about a different job, so let me just stay here. In both of those cases, sticking to the plan is actively causing unhappiness. Your job, more often than not, is the place where you're spending the majority of your waking life. Okay, think about that for a second. Capitalism really snapped with that. So when you don't like your job, it really takes a toll, and it affects every other moment of your waking life outside of your job too. But the area of life that I feel like most people can get trapped in very easily is relationships. And if you know me in real life and you're in a long-term relationship, you and I have already had this conversation probably because it's one of my favorite things to talk about, so maybe skip this part. But if we haven't already discussed it, let me get really freaking real for a minute. I was in a relationship throughout college and in my early 20s that, and I'm saying this in hindsight, really made me feel relieved that I already had a plan for my romantic future. I was like, whew, found my person at 18. Thank God, the plan is planning. This is who I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. Glad it worked out that way. And then like 5 years later, after graduating from college and growing out of my party phase and really giving zero fucks about nurturing the relationship because I thought I had it in the bag, he broke up with me. I was like, huh? What about my plan? When I tell y'all, I would have stuck to that plan come hell or high water. Okay, I had to have that plan ripped out of my grimy little paws if I was gonna get rid of it. I fought so hard for that relationship that looking back now, I'm like, girl, stand up. I think we all have one of those. Anyway, my point is that sometimes life has a funny way of forcing your hand when something is no longer serving you and you're not doing anything about it. And I want to use that specific example to talk about why we stick to plans like this regardless of the reality of the situation. For me, a lot of the time, it's the fear of the unknown. I would say 4 years ago, if you asked me about my biggest fears, I would name about 20 things, but one of them would be the unknown. Here's the thing y'all gotta understand. I have anxiety, and if you're someone with anxiety too, you know that we love a plan. We love being in control. The control room of my life is my safe space. When we plan everything out and take control, we get the sense that we've already anticipated anything that could happen. And if we can anticipate it, then we can prepare for it and prevent negative events from coming to fruition. But the issue with feeling the need to be in control is that we're tricking ourselves into thinking that we are preventing, but in reality, we're stalling. So for me, holding on to my relationship with a death grip was my way of preventing all of the shitty things that come along with trying to find the person who's really meant for you. I was trying to prevent dealing with the bozos on the apps, getting my heart broken, being alone. Y'all, the thought of being alone was so spooky. I didn't even like going to the grocery store alone, okay? She was very codependent and she liked it that way. Not only that, but at the time, I'm like 25. I've dedicated my entire adult life to this relationship. I don't wanna learn someone else's personality. I don't wanna start over like that with someone else, even if they're cool. It's too much work. I don't wanna throw away this thing that I've had for so long. And the same exact thing happens with jobs. Like I said earlier, sometimes the devil we know is so much better than the devil we don't. Especially when you put a lot of time and effort into getting where you are in your career, why wouldn't you wanna stick to the plan? It is way too much to redo your resume, apply to a bunch of jobs, do a bunch of interviews, take classes or trainings on the new thing you want to do. And this is all on top of the job that you currently have taking up the majority of your waking life. Plus, you don't even know if this new career is even going to work out. So you have the fear of failure working against you too. I get it. Trust me. It took me 5 years to get the courage and the audacity to leave my corporate life and enter this new, highly unstable, highly unpredictable career that I'm in now. But now that I've made letting go of the plan sound super appealing, let me tell you what happens when you actually do it. When you finally reach that point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, or when the universe, God, life, whatever you want to call it, forces your hand and forces you to change, you are presented with endless options. I had a realization a few months after my breakup that not having a plan anymore meant that I could do literally anything. I could live anywhere I wanted to live. I picked an apartment that was totally me in a part of town that was totally fitting for that stage of my life. I could go out with my friends any night of the week and I didn't have someone waiting for me at home. I could sleep soundly at night knowing that I wasn't worrying about anyone but myself. And on top of all that, when I healed and dusted myself off a little bit, I could talk to or date anyone I wanted. So I went from being like, oh my God, my plan, what happened to my plan? I have no plan, to, oh my God, I don't have a plan. I have 0 plans. And the thought of the whole dating aspect of being single really stressed me out when I was in a relationship, but once I actually put myself out there and started going out on dates, I realized it's really only as serious as you make it. I dropped all the major expectations that I had, and when I went out, I was just like, you know what? This person might not be my husband, but I'm gonna go have some fun, do some karaoke on a weeknight, you feel me? It's gonna be good. I decided to not take it so seriously pretty much from the jump, and I ended up having so much fun and meeting a lot of cool, fun people. When I finally reached the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave my corporate job, it was terrifying. It still is terrifying. It's only been like 2 months, okay? I'm still scared. But by quitting my corporate job, I seriously felt the biggest weight just lift off of my shoulders. I no longer wake up super anxious about the messages that people sent me outside of work hours. I don't wake up in the middle of the night with anxiety about my to-do list or the people who are relying on me and that I might let them down. Y'all, I don't dread Mondays. Sunday scaries who? But more than anything, quitting my corporate job really freed up the space in my mind and in my day to go hard on my side hustles and really make progress. And I feel like I've made more progress these past 2 months than I have in the past year. When you let go of this idea that I have this plan and I gotta stick to it, you will be shocked at how free it feels to not have a plan. It actually feels less anxiety inducing and more exciting. Not to mention, when you let go of the plan and you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you expand your knowledge, your consciousness, your ability to love. I learned so much from being single, and I continue to learn so much from the relationship that I'm in right now. But it really took me losing my plan and being forced to start over to even realize that I want to learn, I want to grow, I want new opportunities. Because when I was in the thick of my plan, and you might feel this way about your plan now, I was very content at staying right where I was. I was so comfortable in the lack of movement. I hadn't even considered what it would be like to grow or change because it was so far removed from my reality at that time. I couldn't even conceptualize what that looked like. I would never be able to actually conceptually see what my life looks like now. There is so much power in not sticking to the plan. There is so much growth and opportunity in walking away from what no longer serves you. And this is why, if you know me in real life and we've had this conversation, I always ask, are you truly happy in your current situation? Job, relationship, the city you're living in, whatever. And what do you feel you're getting out of it? How is your current situation serving you? And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the conversation trickles into dump him territory, which I would never wanna feel like I'm forcing someone to do. But I feel like so often when we get into these long-term relationships where there's not really any progress happening and we can't really spread our wings, so to speak, we forget to consider that leaving that situation is even an option. So I feel like it's important to ask yourself those questions. And by the way, if you're in your career and you've been doing it for 10 years, or you're in a relationship and you've been in it for 6 years and you're happy, stay. If something is not broken, we do not need to fix it. If nothing that I'm saying about my own experiences and perspective is resonating with you, that's cool. Please don't take this as me acting like the authority on life, y'all. I don't know your situation. Everyone's on different journeys. Everyone's on a different timeline. It's all good. However, if you're feeling stuck in your plan despite knowing that there are better opportunities out there, recognize that growth and success lies on the other side of anxiety and fear. Most good things in life take time and require being pushed out of your comfort zone. You're gonna encounter uncomfortable situations, hardships, setbacks, failures. Failure is a huge one. We can never escape failure. But on the other side of falling flat on our faces time and time again is success and happiness. Because what are mistakes for if we're not learning from them, right? And going off of that long, arduous journey doesn't have to happen overnight. In fact, it probably can't. Take baby steps and sit in the gratitude after every single one. If you just got out of a relationship a month ago, you don't have to put the pedal to the metal and start Tindering and going out on 5 dates a week. Major life changes are difficult. They're highly emotional. Take the time you need to heal and pick yourself up, and start small if you have to. Maybe you refresh your resume and you apply to a couple jobs this week and a couple jobs the next. You don't have to go hard right off the bat and start turning in 30 applications a day. If you can bear taking it slow and you're not in a desperate situation where you have to get out of your job immediately, take it slow, take it easy. It's okay to get out of your plan and start your new life and just chill out for a minute. And if that transitional post-plan time is what you're experiencing right now, hang in there. Trust me, it gets better. Take comfort in the fact that you're never stuck anywhere and that things can take a turn and change at any time. If this is something that you've been having a little inkling in your mind, a little feeling in your gut about, look into it. Think about this really deeply. Is sticking to this life plan that I made for myself really what I want? Am I gonna die happy with as few regrets as possible having done that? And if you've already let go of the plan and taken the pressure off yourself, I'm right there with you, queen. Let's go. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my video next weekend. Love you, friend.